Most gardeners are composting wrong, and it's costing them weeks, sometimes months, of plant growth without even realizing it. The biggest mistake? Treating compost like a slow, passive pile and expecting fast, powerful results. That delay doesn't just waste time. It starves your plants, weakens root systems, and creates nutrient gaps right when crops need strength the most. Here's the truth most people don't talk about. Compost speed is not about patience, it's about control. If you don't control breakdown conditions, your compost becomes inconsistent, sometimes even harmful. I've seen gardeners apply half-decomposed material thinking it's organic only to end up with nitrogen lockup, stunted growth and soil that actually gets worse before it gets better. That's exactly why I stopped relying on traditional compost piles for my main inputs. Instead, I started controlling the process, and one of the simplest tools that made a real difference for me was the 4-litre electric composter for kitchen. It turns daily food scraps into a stable, usable material fast, without the smell, pests or guesswork. It solves a problem most people ignore, adding raw waste too early. I'll leave the exact one I use in the description if you want to check it out. But what matters isn't the tool, it's what it allows you to do with your soil. Now here's where things get interesting, because what I'm about to show you is the part that makes this compost hack feel almost unfair. So instead of waiting weeks for compost to, maybe be ready, I decided to try a faster method in one of my raised beds that had honestly been underperforming. The soil wasn't exactly dead, but it was, sluggish. Plants were growing, but they were doing it slowly. The leaves looked lighter than they really should be, and watering just didn't seem to hold as long as it used to. Now, this is the kind of situation where, honestly, most gardeners would just add fertilizer, but I didn't. What I did instead was apply a thin layer, about 1 centimetre, of fully processed compost right across the surface. Not mixed in, not buried, just laid on top. Then I gave it a light watering to, activate contact with the soil below. And then I did something most people skip. I covered it, not with thick mulch, just enough to create a microclimate, a light organic layer to trap moisture and stabilize temperature. This small step is where the speed comes from, and I'll explain why in a second. Within 24 hours, the change started, not visually, but biologically. The soil underneath became slightly warmer and softer. That's microbial activity ramping up. When compost is properly processed, microbes don't need time to wake up. They start working immediately. By day 2, water retention improved. The top layer stopped drying out as fast, and the soil underneath held moisture evenly instead of forming dry pockets. But day 3 is when it started to feel almost wrong, how fast things were changing. Plant leaves began to deepen in color. Not dramatically, but noticeably. That subtle shift from pale green to richer tones tells you nutrients are becoming available right when the plant needs them. And here's the key point most gardeners misunderstand. It's not the compost feeding the plant directly, it's the microbes breaking it down into forms the plant can actually use. That process is what you're accelerating. By day 5, root expansion had clearly improved. I checked one section by gently exposing the top layer, and the difference was obvious. Roots were spreading closer to the surface instead of staying compacted deeper down. That's when I knew this wasn't just a small improvement. The system had shifted. Now let's talk about why this works so fast, because this is where most advice online gets it wrong. People are told to mix compost into soil deeply. In some cases that's fine, but it slows down microbial interaction at the surface, where oxygen and moisture are most balanced. By keeping compost near the top and protecting it, you create the perfect zone for rapid biological activity. This is especially important in raised beds and containers, where conditions fluctuate more than in-ground soil. In those systems, speed matters. You don't have the buffering capacity of deep soil layers. And here's something I tested in containers that surprised me. Using the same method, a thin compost layer, light cover and controlled moisture, I saw faster recovery in stressed plants compared to traditional feeding methods. No liquid fertilizers, no heavy amendments, just better biology. Now, I'm not saying traditional composting is useless. It works, but it's slow, inconsistent, and heavily dependent on conditions most people don't control well. What I'm saying is this: if you want faster results, you need to shorten the gap between waste and usable input. That's where controlled composting changes the game. Instead of guessing when your pile is ready, you know. Instead of risking raw material harming your soil, you're applying something stable and predictable. And once you combine that with proper application, surface layering, moisture control, and light protection, you get results that feel almost immediate. But there's one mistake that can completely ruin this method, and honestly, most people make it without even realizing. Over-application. More is not better here. If you add too thick a layer, you actually reduce oxygen flow and slow everything down. In extreme cases, you create anaerobic conditions right at the surface, which leads to bad smells and, well, poor plant response. That's why I stick to thin layers, usually between 0.5 centimeter to 1 centimeter. It's enough to feed the system, not overwhelm it. Another mistake is inconsistent watering. If the compost dries out, microbial activity drops fast. If it's too wet, you lose oxygen. That balance is what really drives the speed. And, this applies across different systems. In hydroponics, you don't use compost directly, but honestly, the principle is the same. Controlled breakdown leads to consistent nutrient availability. That's why well-managed organic hydrosystems outperform random inputs. In backyard gardens, this method reduces dependency on synthetic fertilizers. You're building a cycle instead of constantly correcting problems. And here's the part that makes this feel, well, almost illegal. Once your soil system is active, every input works better. Water goes further. Nutrients stay available longer. Plants respond faster. You're not just improving compost, you're upgrading the entire environment your plants grow in. If you've been gardening long enough, you know how rare it is to find something that actually speeds things up without creating new problems. Most shortcuts backfire. This one doesn't, if you do it right. And if you're serious about dialing in your results, start paying attention to how quickly your inputs become usable. That's the difference between average gardens and consistently productive ones. If you're into this kind of real tested gardening approach, subscribe to the channel. This is where we focus on what actually works in real soil, not theory. Because at the end of the day, compost isn't just about waste. It's about timing, biology, and control. Once you understand that, you stop waiting for results and start creating them. If this gave you a new way to look at composting, share it with someone who's still stuck waiting weeks for their soil to improve. And I'll see you in the next one.